true confidence ultimately allows your purpose to manifest itself. So, what would you say? Would you say you found your purpose? Yeah. When would you say you found your purpose?
I found my purpose a week ago. For a long period of time, probably 2 or 3 years, I thought I found my purpose, which was, of course, the cliche of I want to be a millionaire and I want to own several businesses. You know, and that was not my purpose at all. My purpose is to be an educator. So when being an educator, that means in the senses of and the subjects of what I've mastered. So those things include real estate, those things include business, those things include credit, those things include financial literacy, and a couple more, but I think those are the 4 most important. When you put in the 10,000 hours on each of those subjects, you have a greater purpose, not only to benefit from a financial perspective and a business perspective, but also you have to really put into play how much knowledge you have in your brain to affect certain people. So with that being said, I saw, just by doing small conversations with people, doing small tidbits of things that I was doing with people, and I could tell the things that I thought was so common was not. For example, something as small as, in my eyes, as if you pay all of your small interest debts off, you'll get the snowball effect, quote unquote, from Dave Ramsey. And once you do that, you get a momentum and a gazelle-oriented focus, gazelle like the actual animal. And once you get that focus, you start to go in and actually pay off any debt that you can. However, most people don't look at debt that way. Most people look at debt as like, I don't want to discover it. I don't even want to look at my credit report. Credit Karma is free. Let me just look at this and make sure that that's not accurate. And I know I could put the bandage on a wound that's not even healed. So when you do that, it shows the accountability that people don't have for themselves. And then secondly, it shows that mentally and emotionally, a lot of people are not prepared to even look at themselves to take responsibility of their actions that they had in the past. And tying that into my purpose, I noticed that some people in the search and conquest of their purpose, they have to be the bearer of bad news, which is me. Credit is not a sought out subject or topic. A lot of people are sensitive about revealing their credit scores, revealing things to a stranger. And I mean, in a sense, for people who don't know me, I may be a stranger to people, and why would you trust me? That's the truth. And it's something that is definitely emotionally tied to your feelings. So I would say my purpose has defined in so many ways, man, but my overall purpose is to be an educator of those subjects that I talked about earlier, and then also to become the biggest business mogul that has ever come out of Toledo, Ohio. And it's not for financial gain. It's not for recognition type of I don't even know the word, but basically just a certain type of recognition. My focus is I build an empire. Me and my wife build an empire so strong that we leave so many generations set up that we don't have to worry about anything in our lives. We don't have to worry about using money as an emotional thing. It's a tool. We don't use businesses as something that we have to make sure that works. No, we use it as something that we're comfortable doing, and we build up several of them, and we just pass them on to our kids, our nephews, our nieces, cousins, aunts, or whatever the case may be. We are just in a comfortable space to where we've mastered every topic that we put our all into, and then it goes into the financial and generational gain that we put our blood, sweat, and tears into.
What was your journey through mental health and spirituality and all those sort of aspects while becoming the entrepreneur that you were?
Whew. Mental health, first off, one of the biggest things I had to fight, because I went through anxiety, I went through depression, I went through, mortality challenges. So challenging myself to even think God was real. All those things. You know, I think that any entrepreneur can be attest to that. You're gonna go through some type of low point to where you get to question any and everything around you. And I think that questioning myself, it was one of those things where, you know, I knew the knowledge. I had the financial backup. Most entrepreneurs don't even have the financial backup. Most people have to literally bank on their idea and hope, dear God, that their family and loved ones and surroundings are already supported and they don't have to worry about money. But 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. So that was another thing. And then lastly, far as emotionally, man, you know, being a family man, being a husband, balancing out all those types of things. You know, I was balancing out being a husband with my wife, you know, making sure we do something every day, you know, something as small as watching a movie, or something as small as we talk at the table every morning before we wake up. Making sure my stepson is happy, you know. He loves cars. He loves watching Netflix and watching Johnny Test. Making sure I watch an episode or two with him. And then lastly, balancing out my passion. So I'm 9 times out of 10, if I'm not with my family, I'm going 16 to 18 hours a day, only getting 6 hours. Doing 16 to 18 hours of work every day, and only most of the time only getting 6 hours of sleep every day because I'm so obsessive with it and I can't get my mind off of it. And that could take a toll on you in so many ways. So far as how it's tied into myself and into my life, into my mental health, going through that whole journey, it made me into such a stronger person, man, to where I don't have any fears. I don't have any type of spiritual or mental fears at all, because you know what I'm saying, I pray 5 times a day. All praise to Allah. I'm not the strongest of Muslims. I'm not the strongest of committing to a religion. However, but the actual principles and spirituality tactics that the Islam religion puts in place, that's what aligns most with my spirit. And doing that, not only has my blessings came through in every type of way, but also me and my family have been at peace since that moment that I discovered Islam, the religion itself, and the Quran, Bible as well. So saying all that to say, if you don't define your spirituality, if you don't define your purpose in life, and if you don't define the things that can mentally get to you while you're on a journey of becoming an entrepreneur, most of the time your entrepreneurship journey is going to have you very unstable emotionally, to the point where you don't know how to handle everything on one platter. You know, I've been up since it's Sunday afternoon. I've been up since 7 in the morning working. I've shot videos today. I've taken my son to get some ice cream. I've talked to my wife for an hour. You know, I was handling business meetings. I was handling credit consultations. I read 2 chapters of my book. I watched 3 YouTube videos today to make sure I can stay on top of my knowledge. You know, that's the everyday life of an entrepreneur. Every day is not the same. And when every day is not the same, you are forced to be adaptable to any type of environment that you have. And with doing that, you challenge yourself every day to become a better, not only entrepreneur, but a better woman or a man. It's setting the standard for not only for your family, but the platforms that you display that on.
Do you believe there's like a separation in the entrepreneurship community from the people who are say they're entrepreneurs and the people that are?
So the ones who fake about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's easy to put entrepreneur in your bio on Instagram. It's easy to put entrepreneur in the bio of your Facebook. But are you really living it? See, the problem is what social media has opened the eyes up to people is typing 16 to 28 characters in your bio is so easy, but are you really gonna put in the work to show that you are that concept or that term? I'm a living testimony to where I'm juggling 5 businesses in one every day. It's not to brag, it's just to show you that when you put your mind to something, it's no limits, it's no ceilings. And I feel like the people who I think Gary Vee, my mentor, he calls them wannapreneurs. You know, people that say they are entrepreneurs, but probably put in 25% of the, or not even 25%, 15% of the work of being an entrepreneur. If you don't live, die, and eat this shit is not for you. You are in the way at some point, because the people who are actually working and putting in 150% every day are going to probably weed you out in the first place. So yeah, it's definitely a difference between us. And for the most part, what I'm noticing is, man, the people that I've connected with in my entrepreneurial journey who are entrepreneurs, we don't even focus on the people who say that they are entrepreneurs and aren't putting in the work. We, most of the time, we're so focused on our journey and we have tunnel vision and the lights and blinders are up on our path that we forget that people even exist. Not in an egotistical way, but we are so focused on what we're doing that we want to make sure we get better every single day. And when you focus on that, you lose track of people in the competition. I said this in a post probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. The minute that you worry about somebody else's lane, your lane has been taken advantage of or taken out of the race. So with that being said, I'm a credit expert. I'm a credit repair. I have a credit repair company. I know a million credit repair companies in Toledo. I know a lot of people who do credit repair in Toledo, but are you displaying yourself to do that? Are you displaying yourself to know I am the expert in this lane? And are you displaying yourself to go, I'm producing content for my audience every day? Are you going into the bag of, am I actually making an impact outside of my services in my audience's life? 8 out of 10 people that's doing credit repair can't answer that. They can't. And when you get into that mindset of, I'm not only want to give them a service that can change their life, but also give them knowledge that they can go to my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and take and go show their family beings that, yo, I learned this from Gaylon. He taught me something so valuable that I was approved for that car, I was approved for that mortgage, or I was approved for that business loan, you know? And when you get to that status of being a visionary, you show yourself that, okay, I'm not in this just for money. I'm not in this just because I heard that this business can boom. I'm in this to solely change people's lives and be something bigger than myself or my family.
One thing that constantly annoys me is like people are so focused on the bag. They're like very much focused on like, it's gonna get so much money for, I'm gonna get so much money, bro. I don't think it's about like you said. I don't think it's about that. It's about like it should be way bigger than you if you become an entrepreneur.
Let me trick that around. You think it's the crazy thing is that people are looking for money. They looking for
attention.
No, they looking for emotional stability, and I'm gonna break that down. What they're looking for is they want to get something, or they want to get money, and once they get that money, they want to hide the insecurity that they have not yet acknowledged. So, for example, Brett goes crazy with the
you and your names.
Brett crazily goes to open up an artistic gallery. He sells 20 paintings and he gets $100,000. The girl that's been spinning him or been throwing him to the side for a year and a half, he goes to purchase a Rolls Royce. I'm sorry, no, let's not even get too big. Let's say he goes to purchase a BMW that's $60,000. He has $40,000 left. He finds out that she works at, let's say, a beautician parlor on, let's say, Lewis Avenue. He pulls up in the BMW just to go, I want to display that I have a car now. And the car is hiding in the insecurity of, I have yet to master my emotions or how to even communicate with a woman. That's a deep ass thought when you really think about it. You just spent $60,000 to say that you don't know how to communicate with a woman. When you think about how sick that shit really is, it's a sick type of thought. And not sick in a weird, like, I don't want to be around that way, but sick in a way like you could have easily bought a book. You could have easily talked to a psychiatrist. You could have easily talked to a counselor. You could have easily talked to your family members that probably has a wife or has a husband that know how to communicate properly with the opposite sex. So to answer what you said, a lot of people do depend on the bag, but 90% of the people, I would say even 95%, 95% of the people who are dependent on the bag on a certain industry or a certain profession is because they are trying to obtain monetary value to hide an insecurity that they do not want to deal with in an emotional standpoint. So they can't look themselves in the mirror to go, I only have $2 in my pocket, but I know this insecurity needs to be handled today in order for me to be a better person. A lot of people don't want to do that. So now what happens is you go the opposite end. You get an entrepreneur who is solely in it because they love starting and sustaining longevity in a business. So once you do that, you go, oh, I want to open up as many businesses as I want. But I'm wearing a Walmart t-shirt every day. But I'm wearing Levi jeans every day. But I'm wearing white Air Force Ones every day that only cost 50 or 60 bucks in certain sizes. You go, I don't care about my attire. I don't care about jewelry. I don't care about the materialistic things. I'm in a Honda Civic that I've had since 2014. What really matters at that point? Do you want to build a longevity legacy for people around you? Or are you going to keep hiding insecurities that nobody really gives a fuck about but you? That's the name of the game.